Samuel Evans from Memphis, Tennessee.
How old are you?
I'm 69 years old, coming the 14th of March.
Yeah. Somebody say yeah. Everybody say yeah. Let me come back.
I'm Johnny Latouf, and the owner of the Skylark Lounge here in Austin, Texas. Kind of a tucked away place that specializes in soul and blues and local acts that, and some traveling acts that comes into our club. The bar itself has been here for 32 years. It was a bar predominantly for this neighborhood and the African American community. It was called the Airport Bar and Grill. And in the day, it was quite a storied place where all the movers and shakers on the east side came and did business and watering hole and drank. And the owner of the property eventually decided not to do the bar anymore. He had created it. And he had let his bartender take it over for a brief period, and it became, for that period, a lesbian bar called Bernadette's. And Bernadette's was quite the storied place as well. And I had come along after Bernadette's had been here for, I think about a year. And I had tried to buy the property, not having any intention of ever owning a bar in my life or being in this business. I was older, and I was just looking at it as more of a real estate deal. And the owner of the property and I never really could come to terms on it, but we became friends. And at the final day when we were just going to part company, I asked if I could come walk through the bar. I had been in here years and years ago, but I hadn't been in a while. And so I'd walked in the bar, and in that moment, I just felt something in here. I don't know what it was. It's something that just actually touched me about the place, just the whole feel of it. And I had been in East Austin my whole life and been in many of the bars over here that the African American community had gone to and been a part of. And it just felt very similar to what I had remembered. Well, in that moment when I had come in and walked through it, I had turned to the owner of the property and the owner of, the former owner of the bar, and said, hey, would you mind telling the people that I'd be really interested in investing in the bar with them if they ever need any help? I don't know why I said it. It just came out. And in that moment, he just said, yeah, I'll let them know. And I said, I thanked him and went about my business. Well, he had mentioned it to him, and they called me about a week later to meet. And we met and sat down and asked me, what I wanted to do. And I said, well, I just want to help you. I really feel the place as having some significance to the neighborhood. And the first thing they said to me is that you wouldn't let us keep it a gay bar. And I said, yeah, of course, whatever it needs to be. I said, I feel the history of it and I would like to be involved. And we talked and we went over things. And at the end of the conversation, they basically said, I don't know that we're ready, but could we leave it open, and could we call you sometime if we decided we wanted to maybe explore those options? And I said, sure. And I left here not thinking ever in a million years I was ever going to get a call, and I went about my life. And a year later at Thanksgiving, I got a call, and the current owners of Bernadette's said, we're 3 months behind on the rent, electricity's getting ready to get cut off, and was I still open to investing in the bar? And I said, well, not quite the opportunity I was thinking about when I first came along, but I'll come over and talk to you. And I came over and talked to them, and they told me what the financial situation was. And I said, well, it is the holidays, and I'm not really sure that, what I can do for you, but I will catch your rent up. I will pay the electricity bill, and we can go from there. In January, I'll come in with the rest of the money and I'll become a part of the place. And we agreed with a handshake, and I wrote him a check, and that was it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How y'all doing? My name is T.T. Brown. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. Love my music. I was brought up playing lead guitar. Ended up playing drums. Ended up playing piano. And the best part I love about it is my singing. And this young man here, I don't know his name, but he said he want to know something about the blues. The blues is something deep down inside your heart. You have to experience it to know it. Blues is just not singing, you know what I'm saying? It's a feeling that comes from your heart, a life that you had to live. I mean, if you ever ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you eat that for a treat. But I had to eat that in the cotton field for my breakfast, dinner, and supper. At 10 years of age, I literally had to take out of school in order to help my family. I had to pick up that guitar and play the blues.
My name is Sam Evans. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a musician now for the past almost 20 years. I started singing when I was a kid in church. And from church, I went to just hanging around where I lived in the projects, just singing around the projects, walking around singing with different cats. And in my later years, as I grew a little older, around my 20s, I auditioned for Stax in Memphis for David Porter and Homer Banks, one of the writers there. And I passed the audition to record, but I was doing some young and dumb stuff, and so I didn't go back, so I missed my opportunity of singing. And so after that, I never sung anymore until I was 49 years old, and that came back to me in Alaska. I moved to Alaska and was working, and the cat came to me about some karaoke, which I didn't know what karaoke was. And I had been telling him about me singing. I used to sing and stuff, and said, man, you ought to come up here and sing some karaoke one night. I said, man, I don't even remember any words to karaoke, even singing words. He said, you don't have to worry about the words, go across the screen. There's a big screen up there and the music play. And so just one night I happened to go up there and see what karaoke was about, and walked into the club and seen this big screen with the words going by. And so I said, oh, I can do that, music playing. So I sit down and did a little karaoke, and I kind of blew the place out because they had never heard me sing before. And so the cat that owned the bar said, man, you need to be singing. I said, no, this was just for fun. I just wanted to see what was going on with it. And so he said, man, you need to be singing. He said, I'll put a show together up here for you. So all you got to do is get you some dub music and say, I'll put a show together for you. I said, man, are you sure about that? He said, yeah, you get your music dubbed and I'll put a show together for you up here. I said, well, okay, if you think it'll work. And so I found a guy to dub me some music, and on that night I went up to the club and the parking lot was full. And I just wondered, I said, it's gonna be a good night tonight. I wonder who's here. And so I walked in the club, and when I looked around, all of my co-workers and all of my friends were there. The place was jam-packed. And so I got up and did my thing off a track, and people went crazy.
My father taught me how to play when I was about 5. And he knew lightning happened, and old man kind of played that lightning. And I'm the only one in the family that took up the trade of playing music. And it's the best music that you ever want to hear, really. And you just can't play the blues if you don't know it. You could imitate it, which I've seen a whole lot of musicians do, imitate the blues, act like they playing the blues. And they playing it, but they not playing it from their heart. If you never, ever in your life had to just struggle through life, especially when it's 12 kids in the family, and your mother's working and your father's working, and you have to wear your brother's shoes, your brother's pants, and like dress robe, I had to get a rope, tie my pants up on me. But I never was ashamed to go to school, even when my shoes wore out. I always took my guitar to school. And back then, in my day and time, a nickel was $1. And the first pair of shoes I ever bought in my life was at Goodwill for $1.25. I treasured them shoes. I still got them, if you might not believe it, I still got them. And I have them mounted on a piece of wood like that for my first pair of shoes I ever bought. And when I did a show back in 69, I had a band called Just Us. And we opened up for James Brown. It was nice. And then after Just Us, I formed a band called Freedom Express. And we traveled around the world. It was nice. It was nice. That's when I got into the limelight. Started meeting different artists all the way around the world. I've been around the world 3 times in my lifetime with my music. And the best time I ever had in my life is when they put me on the show with B.B. King and Bobby Bland at Antone's. And this was in 71. And you talking about a thrill of my lifetime to be on the stage with Bobby and BB. And the guest star sure did trip me out. It was Tyrone Davis. 3 stars that when I was a kid, I used to listen to my mother play their records and sing their songs. I wasn't really off into the hip-hop rhythm and blues when I was playing with Freedom Express, Freedom Machine, Just Us, Charisma, and all those bands. I've always been a blues man. So I turned all those bands over to my baby brother, Melvin Eugene Wynn. We called him Cheese. I stole his name from James Brown guitar. And when I got to reach the age of 14, I went to a place they call Ernest Chicken Shack. And I ran in the Blues Bar Hubbard. The best guitarist you ever wanted to meet in your life. Besides Cal Green now. And from that point, I hooked up with Hubbard. I sung with Blues Boy for about, give or take, 4 to 5 years. And I fell in love with more with the blues. And I have a whole lot of friends around here that come up with the blues. And not only black folks, Spanish folk, white folks, they get off into the blues. And they play the blues damn pretty good. Sometimes I sing with them, sometimes I hang out with them just to see what they really know. But just like I said, in order to play the blues, you got to feel it within your heart. You get actors on stage because it's just a job to them. But to me, the blues is my family. The blues is my heart. That's what I live for. I wake up in the morning singing the blues. I go to sleep at night singing the blues. And if you ever want to hear some good blues, go down to Skylark Lounge.